best of both worlds. This is call number 391. And today, I hope you know the movie Diamonds Are Forever. Our topic is phthalates are forever. So stick around and we'll talk about what are these phthalates, where are they found, and is it a good thing that they're forever? You can look at my face and kind of tell it's not. But before we get into that topic, I want to bring you something that is forever, and that is the amazing awesomeness of our fearless leader, Mr. Terrence Hope, Enagic 6A, distributor extraordinaire, the persistent, consistent influencer of health around the globe. Mr. Hope, can you join us today?
Dr. Lisa Singletary, MD. Yes, I can.
Awesome.
Just up. Oh, awesome. Coolness. So I'm glad to be here. I'm glad we're all here from around the globe and all of our various locations here and there and everywhere. And glad we're here as we are twice a week to give you information that we believe you need to know to keep your health in the order it needs to be in. Um, we talk about Kangen water machines here, and we talk about um, nutrition, detoxification, and many of those fundamentals that are so important for us to keep in mind um, on a daily basis of what is best for our health. I'm going to just go ahead and share my screen just briefly, or something on my screen I'm going to share. So you can get an idea of what I'm about to talk about today. Oh, round we go. 1 second, please. Let me add something else here for your enjoyment today. Yes. And I'm going to complement some of Dr. Singletary's content for today. And, Dr. Singletary is talking about phthalates today, phthalates, different types of chemicals that are unfortunately in our uh, environments. Of course, she's going to go into the detail about all of that when when she comes up to speak. There are certainly things we need to be aware of, in our environments, and toxins, the importance of detoxifying the body, the importance of getting what our body needs for full health, and avoiding those things that are and can be very much detrimental. So glad to be here, glad to share, and glad to be your friend in health. So I'm going to share a few things on my magic screen, and around and round and round she goes. Where she'll stop, nobody knows. But I'll begin at the beginning, as I like to talk about Kangen water. Yes. So, what is Kangen water? It's an antioxidant water. It's a water where electricity comes in contact with water, creating this new antioxidant aspect that we all need to be aware of. So we have our slogan. What does it say? It says, "Change your water, change your life." Yes. Um, this is an example of one of our Kangen water machines, something many of you would be intimately familiar with. And I better shut down some of my talking points back up, but I should be okay. So where was I? Right here. Um, this is the SD501 Kangen water machine, 7-plate electrolyzer. Um, Standard machine for many, many years, flagship unit of the Enagic company. I have a few of them. They work wonderfully. And of course, we want to know how to work them best, how to work with them best, how to use them properly. This here is just an example of the top of the line machine, our newest unit called the Kangen 8, the Kangen 8 machine. The difference between these two top of the line machines are the number of plates on the electrolysis circuit. The more plates you have on the circuit, the stronger the antioxidant effect. The Kangen 8, as its name might hint to, has 8 plates in the electrical circuit. The sorry about that. The 7-plate ST501 has, of course, 7. Both machines are really adequate for what you need health-wise. There's only a 1-plate difference, and 7 to 8 plate machine, 7 to 8 plates is more than enough for you to receive the health benefits you're looking for. So I'd say it comes down to preference. The Kangen 8 machine is a great unit. It has a universal power supply system that many people may not be aware of. With this unit, you can travel to any country in the world, plug it in, and it will work on the electrical circuit. From here to Japan, to India, to Dubai, to the UK, it's going to work. A little bit stronger, perhaps certainly a little bit stronger of an antioxidant water, strong acid in 11.5. Like I said, come down to preference, which one you prefer. You want a little bit sure that you have the health benefits you need, either one will do. What is Kangen water? Kangen water by definition is, and we hope you all have this etched in your minds, electrolyzed reduced water. Electrolyzed reduced water is a water that is produced in a process where, kapow, electricity comes in contact with water. And when that happens, you're taking H2O, hitting it with electricity. This is H2O, by the way. 2 hydrogens and an oxygen is a H2O. You're hitting that with electricity. And when you do that, crackle jackle, you create an antioxidant effect in the water. As a matter of fact, you get a number of antioxidant molecules that are produced in this process known as electrolysis. So what are we saying? Remember, so it's electricity, electrolysis, electrolyzed reduced water. See the relationship in the electro part of the word? So you're going to produce antioxidant molecules. And that's the real key of having an antioxidant water, or what Kangen water does. So there's a great deal of science data behind the subject matter of electrolyzed reduced water. Here is a publication called Science Direct. There's an article in it called Trends in Food Sciences and Technology. This comes from February 2012, and it goes over different details about the antioxidant elements within electrolyzed reduced water. That is, electrolyzed reduced water, remember, is the science term that refers to Kangen water. Kangen water is a brand name that is advertised by Enagic, the Kangen water company. So if you want to search to find out what Kangen water is, don't look up Kangen water. You'll find all kind of information there, because that's our brand name. Look up the subject matter, electrolyzed reduced water. Here they abbreviate it ERW. And so it says here, as a common mechanism of ERW, that's electrolyzed reduced water, is reduced by electric energy, rock energy, and other energy to produce active hydrogen and mineral nanoparticles. Hydrogen atoms produce hydrogen molecules, which are weak and reductants, but can function as hydrogen donors. Mineral nanoparticles sustain reduction energy because they gradually dissociate to mineral ions, releasing electrons. Mineral nanoparticles directly scavenge O2 and OH, which is hydroxide ions, and H2O2. So just overall, you can look through this article. It talks about the science aspect. What you want to refer to anytime you're looking up Kangen water, remember, once again, electrolyzed reduced water, okay? So the body is self-healing. If we can expel toxicity, make sure our nutrition is proper at the levels where it needs to be, and that our hydration is adequate, the body will do what it's designed to do. I love using this particular slide because it shows you an image of all, well, not all, but number of the woodland creatures found in the United Kingdom, the United States, some more domesticated parts of the world and suburbs, deer, foxes, I think this is an aardvark, I'm not sure, or is that rabbits, swans, squirrels, birds of the air, yeah, frogs. But what's the point of all this? All these animals are not known to have the same kind of illnesses that are very much known in the human population. Matter of fact, in the suburbs of the United States, these animals walk gingerly about the houses, wherein which humans suffer from chronic illnesses like high blood pressure, diabetes, cancers of many kinds, heart disease, kidney failure. None of these animals in the wild are lining up to dialysis centers to get their kidneys pumped. None of them are known to have the same chronic illnesses that humans have at all. So the question is why? One might argue that they have a different physiology, but once again, they are used and studied in science clinical trials. And to see their similarity in, outcomes that could occur with humans. So what's the difference? Humans are eating things like Coca-Cola, Pepsi, Sprite, candy, potato chips, fried foods that cause inflammation, McDonald's, which we can't even be sure is even food these days, yeah? And the animals have none of that. They get protein from each other, they get produce from the foliage, and they drink what water is available. And they're taking into their bodies what their body is designed to ingest. Nothing else. No other food matters, no candies and things like that. Yeah? So humans have to get back to what they're actually designed to eat, not what is advertised to them for the profit sake of the manufacturer. Candy, junk foods. They're called junk foods for a reason, because they're really edible matter, but not really, they're not digestible, and they don't convert to energy. So, we ended up using our bodies as entertainment vessels, not necessarily by our own doing, but because of the advertising and how that could play on the mind of an entire population for generations and what you ingest. Yeah. Someone else is getting a profit, but our bodies are paying the terrible toll. So we want to get back to proper nutrition, hydration, and detoxification. The body being self-healing, we know at the surface of the cells of the skin, if there's a scratch or a cut on the skin, that your body will heal itself. We want to mute that. At the same time, wherever the cut or scratch is, I'm to my computer, we know that these kind of things heal easily. Yeah. If there's a fracture or a hairline fracture or a thorough break to a bone, we know we put a cast on our body to keep the bone still, so that as it heals itself, it heals evenly. Yes. So we want to keep in mind the body is self-healing. We're aware of that, but many of us are not aware that the same self-healing ability continues right down to the cellular level in the body, as long as you've got proper hydration, nutrition, and detoxification, which is why these animals are always so healthy. Yeah. So we want to stay to the keys of our health, get back to full nutrition, and Kangen water is pivotal in detoxification, because it's a water that can now get into the cellular level of the body, go everywhere where water is needed, and perform an antioxidant detox effect, neutralizing effect on free radicals, and an optimization of the hydration levels we require for healthy function. Yeah. Look at your body as a fish tank, I often say. It has to be cleaned out and filtered out. These fish could not survive if this closed environment, wasn't filtered. We need to detox so that our body can stay healthy. Kangen water has often been referred to as alkaline water, and the rhetoric has been said that the body is alkaline, drink alkaline water, eat alkaline foods, and your body will be healthy. It's not quite accurate. As you can see here from this chart, different organs in the body have different pH levels. The saliva tends to be a little more acidic at times to alkaline, depending on the stage of digestion. We look over here, we see that the stomach ranges in the acidic range, which is anything on the pH scale that's below a 7. Once again, the pH scale goes from 0 to 14. Anything below 7 is considered acidic. Anything above 7 is considered non-acidic, or it's known as alkaline or base. So the stomach sits in the acidic range, 1.5 to 4.0. The duodenum, neutral, from 7.0 to 8.5. Let's drop down to the small and large intestines that range from 4.0 to 7.0. And this is below 7 again is in the acidic range. So we recognize that there are organs that are more alkaline, like the bloodstream, 7.45, the heart, same range approximately, the bones, 7.4, and we recognize there are organs that are acidic. All these organs must maintain their pH balance in the acidic range for those organs to be healthy, and in the alkaline range for those organs that are alkaline to be healthy. So the body's not alkaline. We're not trying to alkalize you. The more alkaline, the better. It's not the case. We have to detox you. And once you detox, because the body is self-regulating, the body will maintain its own pH levels in all the organs. So we just need to remove the toxicity that otherwise has hampered our body's ability to maintain pH balance. And pH balance is imperative so that your body stay healthy. If the organs in your body are not at pH balance, the body can't be healthy. What does it say here? Fluids in the human body function to provide digestion, lubrication, nutrient, and oxygen transportation, and protection. To perform these functions, the acid levels must be varied to match the bodily function. Overall levels of acidity or alkalinity are a measure of on the pH scale and must be carefully controlled in each body fluid. The body controls that to make sure that the alkaline levels are where the organs are where they need to be at alkaline levels, and the acidic organs are where they need to be in acidity. So electrolyte reduced water and antioxidant water, better for your health, better for you. And because your body is mostly water and all your bloodstream and cellular functions require water, and having an antioxidant water gives you a great benefit. Water everywhere, and sometimes not a healthy drop to drink. Oh, I have to come out of my great slide I had prepared, but I just want to show you that there was an article I like to refer to called that tap water is legal, but may be unhealthy. That tap water is legal, but may be unhealthy. It's an article from the New York Times, came out in December 2009. It refers to all the chemicals that are in our tap water. Here it says only 91 contaminants are regulated. Only 91 contaminants are regulated by the Safe Drinking Water Act. Yet more than 60,000 chemicals are used within the United States, according to the EPA. Government and independent scientists have scrutinized thousands of these chemicals in recent decades and identified hundreds associated with risks of cancer. Hundreds associated with risks of cancer and other diseases at small concentrations in drinking water, according to an analysis from the government records by the New York Times. Dr. Singletary mentioned that she was going to speak today on phthalates. And one of the things that I pointed out, we had a talk one time before about these things. And I believe I do have this muted. This is a little video, which we might even highlight on one of our calls. So Kangen water, what is it? It is an electrolyte reduced water that detoxes the body. You have a detoxification method going on. You might be able to get out some of these phthalates out of your body and systems, and filter water that might be able to help you prevent them getting into your body from your drinking water, from your cooking water. And I certainly recommend putting something on your shower because there are chemicals in our water systems. There are chemicals everywhere, and we need to stay healthy, hydrated, detoxed, and nourished. So right now, I'll go ahead and pass the call back on to Dr. Singletary. And glad to be here, glad to share, and glad to be of assistance to you all. See you all perhaps later on in the Q&A session. That's Hope here, signing off.
Thank you, Mr. Hope, for joining us today from an unknown location. And bringing that information. We really appreciate it. You gave us a new sound effect today for the lightning. You gave me the kapow, which I always love, but crackle jackal. What?
Yeah, crackle pop.
Crackle jackal. And we have a new term for the body. When you are eating for pleasure, not eating for health, entertainment vessels. And I love this thing that you said here that somebody is profiting, but our bodies are paying the price. Very amazing points. So thank you, Mr. Hope. I was hoping to see Betty today. I hope she gets the replay because I have a correction to make from the last call. And
Tracy.
Was it Tracy? Tracy. Okay. Thank you. You're right. Let me write that down. I was trying to relate her name to people that I know because I have my best friend is a Tracy, but I also have a very close cousin that's Betty. So there we go, Tracy. Thank you. All right. So she asked about spelt. And the issue was she was trying to find alternatives to green bread. And she asked if spelt, and we had a discussion about what's gluten free. And she asked particularly about spelt. And I found some articles. I think I can pull them up, but I'm not sure. Let's see. Let's try this one. I'm new to this share screen technology, so you'll have to tell me if you could see my screen. Do you see this article, Mr. Hope? What is spelt and is it good for you? So, spelt is an ancient grain, but it is a type of wheat. Or it is a type of grain that is strongly related to wheat. So, it is to be avoided on a gluten-free diet. So, unfortunately, spelt is not a an alternative for gluten. We also had a question about oats. Are oats gluten free? And I couldn't remember the name of the gluten like substance in oats. And it's in this article. Where did I find it though? Oh, okay. So it says oats are often contaminated with gluten, but here we go. Pure oats contain avenin, Avenin. That is the name of the chemical that it's a protein that's part of the oats uh, immune system. Really, it's part of their protective system because they don't want to be eaten. So they make themselves difficult to be eaten with these proteins. And so the gluten equivalent in oats is called avenin. And this is why marketers, you got to watch marketers, right? Big food and big pharma. Big food promotes many oats as gluten free because they don't have gluten, but they have the gluten equivalent avenin. So wheat, barley, rye, oats we want to avoid. So what are we to do? Well, there is an article in Healthline, and you can Google this also. Um, you can Google gluten-free grains, or uh, if you're not keto, if you're not watching your carb count, you can Google gluten-free breads, and you can get analyses and taste tests and things like that of different gluten-free breads. Now, if you're on the keto lifestyle, just to get the idea of bread out of your brain. Now, there are keto friendly bread recipes, and a lot of keto friendly breads starting to hit the market, both online and in markets that you can actually walk into and get them off the shelf. But if you look at the ingredients, they are wheat, byproducts, wheat, uh, it's just all kinds of wheat in most of them. Now, there are gluten free keto breads. I'm not sure, and this is just my personal preference, that they're really worth the money or the effort. It's like just, and there are recipes, of course, for gluten free, keto friendly doughs. They're usually made with almond, uh, uh, almond flour, coconut flour, these alternative flours. To me, if I make them or mug cakes or muffins or hamburger bun, I mean they're all kinds. And with some of them, you add stuff like xanthan gum to get the texture better. But um, for me, and this is me, it's not worth the effort or the expense of the ingredients. So, um, but stand by. There may yet come to the market a gluten-free, keto-friendly uh, alternative that is um, not terrible. So, but I definitely wanted to make that correction about spelt. All right. So let me check this off because we've got a lot to talk about today. So, been a good little girl. All right. So, chemicals are forever. And yeah, phthalates are forever. So there's a term that again you can Google called forever chemicals. And phthalates are one type of forever chemicals. Um, you may be very aware of the restrictions on the use of BPA in different plastics and how we want to avoid BPA in our containers and whatnot. But what was BPA there for? In the first place, it helps to make the plastic supple, so it's not brittle. It doesn't break every time you knock it against something, but it's more flexible and supple. So these BPA free plastic jars that are available now, they're supple, right? So what did they put in the BPA free stuff to make it still have the qualities of plastic that we appreciate? So it's not brittle. And will those things turn out in the future to be just as harmful or more so than BPA? And trust me, studies are coming in that, yeah, we didn't do a whole lot just by removing BPA from the picture. Well, we're going to take a look at something else that's a forever chemical today, and that's phthalates. So I want to start with this one article. Uh, from Wired. And I just picked Wired. These articles are everywhere. So if you Google forever chemicals, just those two words, you'll find article after article after article after article. But I picked Wired because I just thought of electricity in our electrified, uh, electrolyzed reduced water. So, and I like the title. Forever chemicals are in your popcorn and your blood. Food packaging can contain a group of chemicals called PFAs, which are phthalates, which have been linked to immune, thyroid, kidney, and reproductive health problems. Next time you pick up a pizza from your favorite pizzeria and toss it in gluten-free, right? From your favorite pizzeria and toss the box in your front seat, think about why the grease doesn't saturate through the cardboard onto your upholstery. Or when you hear popcorn bursting in a bag in your microwave, consider why the oil doesn't ooze out and the paper doesn't burst into flames, even when some kernels turn black. The answer is likely to be PFASs or PFAs. Per and polyfluoroalkyl substances are a group of about 4,700 chemicals. Now, remember, in the article Mr. Hope just brought, they only test in our water 91, at least at the time that that article was written. So, out of the other 4,609 chemicals, um, what are they putting in there? So these chemicals make carpets and upholstery stain resistant. They help firefighters douse burning oil and gas. Some phthalate, I'm going to just say phthalates. Some phthalates versions keep your burger from sticking to its fast food wrapper and your salad from turning its fiber-based bowl into a soggy mess. For years, scientists and environmental advocates have been sounding the alarm about these persistent forever chemicals which break down very slowly and contaminate groundwater and end up in rivers and oceans. I'm looking now because I had a call, a prior call number. I don't know if you can see this or not, but I pulled up our call topics log, and this call is number 352. And we talked about endocrine disrupting chemicals, environmental toxins in our endocrine system. And the next call was environmental toxins in our nervous system. But back to Wired. So the phthalates are linked to all these systems, and they're possible carcinogens, and they have a half-life of 92 years in the environment and 2 to 8 years in the human body. Now, what is a half-life? That means in the human body, it takes 2 to 8 years. Let's say you have ingested 100 units of phthalate. Okay, just think about it. But a half-life means that a half-life of, let's say, 5 years. Okay, a half-life of 5 years means that when you start with 100 units, in 5 years, that's cut in half and you'll have 50 units. And then in 10 years, that's cut in half and you have 25 units. It's still in your body. 20 years, it's down to 12 and a half, right? So it takes decades for one dose of phthalates to get out of your system. So that's why they call them forever chemicals. So just imagine when we are microdosing ourselves every day with these things, they build up in our bodies. And I did say I want to show you where they are in our body. So they're in our popcorn, they're in our blood. There was a Scientific American article. They are in our drinking water. Forever chemicals are widespread in US drinking water. Experts hope that the administration will do something about this, but let's look at this. Many Americans fill up a glass of water from their faucet without worrying whether it might be dangerous. But the crisis of lead-tainted water in Flint, Michigan showed that safe, potable tap water is not a given in this country. Now, a study from the Environmental Working Group, or EWG, a nonprofit advocacy organization, reveals a widespread problem. The drinking water of a majority of Americans likely contains, quote unquote, forever chemicals. These compounds may take hundreds or even thousands of years to break down in the environment. I think I saw in the last article that the half-life was 92 years, right? That is incredible. Just wanted to write a note that I want to bring up later. Okay, so in our popcorn, in our bodies, in our drinking water. Well, let me show you an article that really made me gasp. And not a lot makes me gasp these days, but in The Guardian, they have reported a study finds alarming levels of forever chemicals in US mothers' breast milk. Toxic chemicals known as phthalates found in all. So they tested 50 women. So that's a very small test sample. You know, we like test samples that are in the thousands, but they have to start with these small sample sizes and see, is there any there, and then they can throw money at it and make a bigger test and hire bigger computers and, you know, get bigger samples, get more blood drawn, etc. But here we go. In all 50 samples tested, nearly toxic the toxic chemicals tested at nearly 2,000 times what's considered safe in our drinking water. That made me gasp. Of course, it makes perfect sense, right? We've talked about on this call multiple times how when the body has an invading toxin, which these phthalates are, and our bodies are not designed to break down phthalates. We don't know what to do with them, you know, on a cellular level. And so the phthalates are just stuck into our fatty tissue, our adipose tissue, and they're just stuck in there and stored until they're brought out. And I've described to you how when I helped certain people get on detox programs and they detoxed too quickly and they had drug flashbacks from decades prior, and just there's all kinds of things stored in our bodies that we have long forgotten, but they're just there. Well, breast milk is, or the human breast is very largely fatty tissue, and so can store these unknown substances. And when breast milk is made, the cells in the glands actually disintegrate to an extent to make the breast. I don't remember the name of the process, but um, when those cells disintegrate, it releases everything inside those cells. So, uh, here's the article. A new study that checked American women's breast milk for phthalate contamination detected the toxic chemical in all 50 samples tested and at levels nearly 2,000 times higher than the level some public health advocates advise is safe for drinking water. The findings are cause for concern and highlight a potential threat to newborn health. The study shows that phthalate contamination of breast milk is likely universal in the United States, and that these harmful chemicals are contaminating what should be nature's perfect food. Phthalates, or PFAs, or per and polyfluoroalkyl substances, are a class of about 9,000 compounds that are used to make products like food packaging, clothing, carpeting, water, and okay, make food packaging, clothing, and carpeting water and stain resistant. They're called forever chemicals because they do not naturally break down and have been found to accumulate in humans. They're linked to cancer, defects, liver disease, thyroid disease, plummeting sperm counts, and a range of other serious health problems. So concerning, can I say, very concerning for our infants, because they're drinking it, right? And their intestinal systems are not fully developed. So, and they're much more leaky than our, well, pre-gluten intestines are. Now we get back to leaky gut syndrome, then that creates that whole other set of problems. We got to talk about that. Write that down. I have a cousin who I connected with last night, and she's got the worst intestinal issues. and she told me how she's suddenly discovered she's addicted to Cheez-Its. I'm like, why are you eating Cheez-Its? But you know, we just people I don't know, we hear these things, but they just don't resonate. And so that's one reason I'm very happy that we have a call like this where we can at least discuss these things and get the information out. So, um, what are we to do? Well, I want to help with that. So, Healthline does have an article, How to Avoid Forever Chemicals in Your Dinner and Microwave Popcorn. And you can look this up. Like I said, if you look up forever chemicals, these articles will come up. So, this study was looking at food packaging. Dining out and microwave popcorn are sources of exposure. So, how can you avoid phthalates? The CDC says that since phthalates are at low levels in some foods and in the environment, the air, water, and soil, completely eliminating exposure is unlikely. But this doesn't mean you can't take action to significantly reduce your risk of exposure. One clear option is simply cooking and eating at home. But even at home, there are things you can do. Um, according to the 24-hour recall model, now we know people lie and they can't remember what they ate the last meal, much less for 24 hours. But according to this survey that they did, every 100 calories of food per day eaten at home from a non-restaurant source was associated with decreased concentrations of all 5 PFAs in the sample they tested. So you can also avoid stain or water resistant clothing or products. Stop using non-stick cookware, Teflon, remember, which all contain phthalates. Uh, Contamination of water is a concern that we can address by using an activated carbon or reverse osmosis filter for your home's drinking water. Well, guess what is in our machines? The filter is an activated charcoal or activated carbon filter. Yay! But also, you know what? I'm more and more and more convinced that we need to also use pre-filters on our machines. So, you know, if we want to step our water game up just a little bit, then yeah, look into pre-filters. A study published in January found that women who floss with Oral-B Glide tended to have higher levels of a type of phthalate called PFHXS in their bodies compared to those who didn't. But there are other types of floss without phthalates. Worried consumers can also use an oral irrigator to clean their teeth. So, yeah, you just have to look for it everywhere. Uh, the good news is that there are choices. The bottom line, phthalates are everywhere, but there are things that we could do. So anything that you use that's plastic is suspect. Um, Even if it says BPA free does not mean it's phthalate free. So use as much um, glassware, glass container, glass storage as possible. And again, watch the non-stick cookware um, and the chemically treated clothing. Okay, so maybe you guys have some questions or comments about these forever chemicals or detoxing or pre-fill. I just think pre-filters are a really good idea for our machines anyway, because it helps to protect the machine as well as helping to protect us. So you can raise your hands if you have any comments or questions um, about any of those things. I can't see you, so you can raise your hand in the um, Zoom or, with the thing that says raise hand, or you can type a question or comment in the chat. We're not doing a Facebook Live today, but some of you may have checked out our new Kangen Water Radio YouTube channel. So this will be put up on YouTube a little bit later. It takes a while to download and then upload the videos. But
We have a hand raised, Reginald.
yes, but I will be sending everyone that I have your contact information for the link for our YouTube playlist. Okay, Reginald, question, comment, testimony. Welcome to the call.
Thank you, thank you. Can you hear me?
Yes,
Loud and
perfectly.
clear.
Awesome. How's everybody doing?
Doing fine, thank you.
Awesome. Beautiful call. My question, chlorinated swimming pools. The effect of swimming in a public forum on the body. Any idea?
Oh yeah, I got ideas.
I appreciate your comment. Thank you.
Okay, so first, I want to give a little story about one of the water treatment plants I went to. I talked about that on the last call. And it was in not Mount Vernon, Montebello, right? Right. I think you can correct me, Reggie, but that lake that people walk around in Baltimore, and there's a water treatment plant there. And so we went into the plant. Now, I had been to the sewage treatment plant, and so I saw and smelled what goes into the sewage treatment plant. I saw the whole process of the sewage treatment, and I saw what goes out of the sewage treatment plant. Let me tell you, it was not pretty. Okay. And then I got to the water treatment plant, and I saw the intake from the water treatment plant, and I could, my eyes were burning, and I don't think I had any nose hairs for a couple of weeks. They put so much, they call it shocking it. They shock it with so much chlorine when it first comes into the plant, an attempt to kill everything. So, and they kill everything. But so then you could see the eels and all kinds of stuff just laying in the plant. I mean, laying in this, they call it flocculated water. And from there, the flock went through the rest of the plant and got filtered and filtered and filtered. And then when they showed us the finished product, which was the clean, still heavily chlorinated water, they showed us where they store it. And they store it in this particular water treatment plant in an open, it looks like a swimming pool. No lid, right? So birds can fly over, and I had to ask about it. I was like, why is it covered ever? No. And so I asked, well, what about birds and things flying into it, dust, just wind, things contaminating the holding tank or the holding pool of clean water. And they said, well, we make sure we put enough chlorine in there so that by the time it gets to the sink, everything that it's picked up in the pipes and everything that might have gotten into the pool is sterilized. So
is it something like this at the cemetery? I just happened to find something.
There you go. So for the very reason that we want to have anespas, you could talk about the anespa, Mr. Hope,
Uh-huh.
on our shower heads. We want to avoid chlorine from our skin because it only takes 26 seconds from a chemical on the surface of your skin to start seeping into your bloodstream. So just imagine the effect of a community pool, any pool that uses chlorine as a sterilizer. Very, very bad. But we do have Mr. Hope. Maybe you could talk about the NESPA a bit. I've heard some people have a NESPA parties. They sound like fun. But yeah, swimming pools, everything in life is a trade-off, right? But when the trade-off may not be, or actually, what did I say?
Most
The
beneficial to your
juice,
health.
the juice may not be worth the squeeze.
It's interesting that Singletary. A few years ago, after I became a Kangen waterman, I began to turn my attention away from the use of swimming pools. Now I'll go to the swimming pool. It looks pretty. It glistens. All the kids playing, all the laughing and joking, really wonderful. But I won't actually swim in it. You would say, "You're not gonna go in the water?" No, I'll just sit, lay here and tan. I'll get some sunshine. You know, because then it's like the concern about. I spent all of my time avoiding chemical contamination just to jump in a vat of it. Now I'll call it a vat because it sounds aggressive when you say that. You say pools, and oh, it has nice, it's oh wonderful, smiles and barbecue, but you jump into a whole pool of chemical. And in the same way in the shower, these chemicals get absorbed into your skin in the hot water. Of course, it does the same thing in a pool. Yeah. So you go in there and you spend hours doing laps, exerting yourself, exerting energy, respiratory strength, full out, doing some speed running and laughing So yeah, you're gonna get those chemicals in your body, and do you want that? So I prefer to, for better or for worse, to go to the beach. That's hopefully not polluted, right? In some other fashion, but at least I know there's salt water there, and the salt has a way of detoxifying the body when you swim in it, and there's other benefits I can get from being in the environment that's more natural. And once again, with all the plastics out there getting into the ocean, where are we really safe these days? So we've got a lot of work to do to clean up, but it's a better start than a pool, perhaps. Yeah.
So also, to Reggie's point, and I do thank you for that question, Reggie. I just Googled, are swimming pools healthy? And I'm not going to pull up the articles, but let's look at the titles of some of the articles. Okay. And this one made me take a double take. Are swimming pools dirty? So they just changed the whole question. They were like, forget about health. Are they dirty?
Don't forget about chlorine, right?
Well, yeah, I mean,
it's a good point, because everyone's in the water. It becomes what? One, now we're gonna make some people really screaming like, oh, but it turns it into one big gigantic bathtub, right?
Yeah, so swimming pools can increase their chlorine content to the point of killing every parasite, but there's evidence this can increase the risk of asthma attacks and even cancer. If that's not enough, if there's not enough chlorine in the water, so here's the trade-off, there's a danger of parasites like cryptosporidium and bacteria like E. coli, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera.
Sure.
Okay. Swimming pools and health risks, a parent's evidence-based whatever. So you can look at parentingscience.com and find this article. Despite attempts to disinfect the pool, some pathogens may still lurk in the water. Any cruise ship will tell you that, right? All these cruise ship breakouts, they're doing sanitary things, but these pathogens are starting to be superbugs, and they are there. CDC has information about healthy swimming, recreational water. Maybe they will compare ocean water, looks like ocean water, rivers, maybe. I'm just guessing. I haven't read the article. Stay safe and healthy in your backyard pool, etc. So you can 17 hidden pool dangers you need to know. Indoor swimming pools, water chlorination, and respiratory health. All right, so just Google "are swimming pools healthy?" and you'll find the interesting information. Now I saw a hand. Did I not? Yeah, Dale, welcome to the call.
Hi, can you hear me okay?
Loud and clear. The dulcet tones of Dale Gibson.
Let's talk about chlorine. Reminds me, several years ago, a fellow in St. Louis bought an electrolyzed reduced water processor from me. And he told me a story about his 21-year-old son who lived in Austin, Texas. And he noticed that, I don't know if he took long showers or normal showers, but whatever. After the shower, he always noticed that he always felt bad, enough that he started going to doctors. And they finally determined, the doctors did, that his body was absorbing too much chlorine from the showers. Back to you.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Dale. Mr. Hope?
Yep. As a matter of fact, a couple of things there. And it reminds me of experience I had while visiting Florida. Now, I don't know how many people on the call are Floridians, but I visited there a couple of times, and filtration is hyper important in that state. I experienced the showers there and the drinking water. There's some kind of smell throughout. I don't know if it's everywhere throughout the state of Florida, but in a couple of the places I've been, visiting with friends, Palm Springs and Orlando and so forth. Every time I go there, I'd forgotten until I get there the next time, which is now, right? A good reminder of the water in Florida and how toxic it is. I mean, there's a smell that comes from it.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know if people who live there become acclimated to it to the point where they don't really realize it, but it's in the water, you're cooking with it, it's everywhere. And I went to a health food store that was promoting Kangen water machines in the same town where I was visiting friends where the water was smelling so bad. And he had a quadruple filter system on his Kangen water machine. So it came out of the tap, went through 4 filters before it got to the Kangen water machine. And that water was pure. Didn't smell like the water back at the house I just come from. I also went to the Orlando Kangen water Enagic headquarters. All of their machines were on pre-filters. So if anyone here has ever gone to one of the headquarters of Enagic, New York, California, wherever, the machines are not always on pre-filters. They'll often rely on the filter that's in the machine, and it's adequate to give you the health benefits. But Florida, I noticed all their machines on display had, pre-filters on them of one kind or another. So, and I remember taking a shower there. It felt like you could feel the toxicity in the water, in the shower. So, this is a subject matter that we don't broach this very often on the call, but yes, talking about proper filtration. Sure, Kangen water has the Anespa systems, and of course, all of us have the Kangen water machines, but the Anespa systems have filtration within them, and of course, minerals that are supposed to be very good for your body for an antioxidant effect in the shower. So I would always recommend some sort of filter on your home shower so that you can avoid the toxic issues that come from showering. Drink all the proper water and go and take a shower in a chlorine-filled shower. Got yourself an issue there, friends, family and friends. So we have to be aware of these things, friends and family, and keep ourselves safe. Dr. Singletary.
Well, thank you, Mr. Hope. Thank you, everyone that joined us today. Thank you, Reggie and Dale, for those questions. This has been call number 391. Phthalates are forever. We will have the replays on the Kangen Water Radio YouTube channel. And I think at least we can put the links up on Facebook. I don't know how it works. Thankfully, we have some awesome behind the scenes people that help us. And when you do go to the YouTube or Facebook, please, if you find value in our content, please love us, like us, thumbs up us, subscribe, all the things. Our next call will be Saturday, and that's going to be very exciting at 1 o'clock Eastern time, right here. No, not right here, on the Kangen Water Radio Facebook, Kangen Water Radio Zoom. Sorry, we're everywhere, right? So we're just so excited getting the audio, the visual part to our health and information call technology. So we just are so thankful that you're here with us. Not everybody made the transition over, but we're still working on getting everybody all of the information they need to contact us and to join us.
Sure.
So cue Mr. Hope's pretty slide.
Yeah, isn't it pretty? Aren't you pretty? So yeah, offline, you can always reach us through our websites. In the USA, kangenwaternation.com, and call us at 866-526-4368. In the United Kingdom, reach us at 0800-086-9793, 0800-086-9793. And of course, if you're in the country, you need not use the country code. In Dubai, country code 971 800 018 58